Cheers, guys. Epix911. Welcome to the Elitist Geek. And a quick look at VR covers from the company VR Covers and the website VR Covers. Now, this is a product that you guys actually mentioned after a video where I talked about sweat-drenched Vive foam. And that doesn't sound too good, doesn't feel too good. And swapping it with buddies or family members is, not cool. It's pretty gross, especially with room VR games. You can build up a lot of sweat. If you're at all prone to sweating, that foam, literally, you'd be able to wring enough water out of it to, after a good session, probably fill half a cup. Like, it just attracts the sweat like nobody's business. So I was looking for a third-party solution, and you guys mentioned this, which was awesome. Now, I purchased two types. At the time, even though I had ordered the Rift, I didn't bother getting a pair for the Rift. They do make them, and you'll see that in the picture on the small window. If you look at the top left two, those, actually the top row is all Vive. The bottom left is Oculus Rift. All right, and then you also can get this for the Samsung Gear VR. Now, I got the material one and I got one waterproof one. They sell them basically in pairs, which makes sense. If you think about it, you're going to have one get water on it or get kind of disgusting, more so with the material ones, right? Well, if you wash that, you'd be out, but no, you're not, because they gave you a second. So selling them in pairs, that's a pretty good idea. The material isn't the greatest on this. The stitching isn't bad. I'm not a person who can really identify awesome stitching from bad stitching, but I can from my own stitching. And yeah, it's better than mine, and that's probably, well, that still offers a big range, but it's not bad is what I'm trying to say, right? You can see they've got their little emblem embroidered on there. There's these little Velcro tabs, and what they do is they tuck in under the Velcro to hold it in place, right? The Rift version doesn't have that because of the design. It just kind of wraps around, and as a result, from what I've seen, read, and heard in reviews, it's a little easier to kind of knock it off your HMD if you're putting on the HMD in such a way that your face, that the HMD as it's going down is rubbing against your face. It kind of pushes it up, bunches it all up, doesn't have a good effect. That happens to a lesser degree on the Vive. It can still happen, but those Velcro straps, because of the Vive design, definitely help, right? So, like I said, not the best quality of material, but it feels okay. It feels better than the foam. If I had to choose just on how it feels, this wins hands down compared to the foam. Definitely more comfortable. And I've noticed something cool with both of these, the waterproof one or this one, that when I was using the Vive, right, and you can see I've got that fake leather one on at the moment, I wasn't getting the steaming lenses that I was getting before with just the foam. So I tried it without, and sure enough, they fogged up after I'd been moving around a lot, like in raw data. Went back, tried it with the material one, no fogging up. If it did, it was to a much, much lesser degree that it fogged up, right? The price is a little on the high side. You're paying in the 20s of dollars. So you can see the Vive ones on the top there, they're about $19 to $29. So $29 for the waterproof Vive, that's this one, okay? And $19 for the cloth type fabric. Again, you get a pair, so you're paying $13 each for the waterproof, and you're paying $9.50 each for the material ones. So maybe a little bit on the high side, but by far the biggest cost would be the shipping. That's huge. If there was a local company, it would probably be a lot easier to recommend. I mean, I still recommend it. If you have you know, the issues that I brought up, you're sharing it with buddies, family, sweat bothers you, all that kind of stuff, you know, short of MacGyvering one for yourself, this is definitely a good way to go about it. So from that point of view, I can't say don't buy it, but I'm also not going to say rush out and grab it. It's a must-have. It's not a must-have, but it is comfortable than stock. Is it comfortable by a huge, massive degree? No, but it is more comfortable. The waterproof material, oddly enough, for me personally, it's the most comfortable. Like I said, I've tested it with both. You can see I have it on here. I'm going to show you how, just going to be careful, how it kind of goes around the visor. Right? So there's a little bit of bunch ups, but it doesn't feel uncomfortable. It feels really comfortable when it's on your face. Easily the most comfortable the Vive has felt yet on my face. Just while I'm showing you that, guys, there's another thing I wanted to talk about just since I'm showing this part. So what I did is I MacGyvered a strip of Velcro, okay? There's two strips. There's a strip of Velcro on the cable, and there's Velcro underneath here on the material for your HMD. What I do is I give a little bit of slack to the cable there and then apply the Velcro. That way, if you step on it, right, it tugs. At worst, it's going to free it from the Velcro. And that's a much safer stress point than having you step on it and pull it straight from the HMD. I suspect a lot of people have had cable issues because of that very thing. So if you go to Home Depot or Walmart, you can pick up a Velcro kit literally for a couple of bucks, guys. You slap it on the cable here. You can do the same thing. I've done the same thing with the Rift. And in my opinion, just add to the lifespan of this cable, because no longer is that a stress point, right? So that's that. Easy to put on. When you put it on your head, just take the sides off first, the side straps, right? So you can see with it off, and of course I just popped it open. So let me put it back on. That way you can easily slip it on your head, and then once it's on your head, you pull tight, right? So I know it kind of sounds like I'm on the fence with it, but here's my summary and kind of my final statement on it. Based on my experience, I can definitely recommend them to people who have the same issues that I'm having, right? You don't like the sweat. You're putting it kind of more in a public setting. Maybe you're showing students. Maybe you're bringing it to coworkers or whatever for a Friday, you know, potluck, bring your own lunch type thing at work. Fantastic for that. Definitely would recommend it then, okay? If you're just looking for the comfort factor, and that's it, I would say it's a little bit on the pricey side for that. Do you ultimately get it? Absolutely. While this is better than the foam, I don't know if it's $9 better. You know, you get my drift? And I can be pretty cheap, but that would kind of be my way to look at it, right? What are the factors for you for your decision? If it's sweat and hygiene and all those other things, easy recommend. If it's just for comfort alone, then no, I wouldn't say it's worth the cost, because when you're all in for shipping and everything, for me, it was quite a bit. I think it ended up being like $20 per with all costs thrown in, right? But I'm happy with it. I definitely use it. That faux leather one is probably the one that I'm going to use the most, though. So that's pretty much it for these. I could show you putting them on, but that's available on their website. There's kind of no need to go into that. That's basically it. VR covers. All right, guys. Cheers, and we'll see you on the flip side.